We are live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 16 of Pantry to Plate in the Kaiser Permanente Learning Kitchen of the Food Bank. We're off to a great start. Okay. I'm Kristen, your friendly food bank dietitian, and I love peaches, so I'm really excited about this episode and the recipes I'm going to share today. So in the past, we have talked about peaches. We're going to share some different ideas than we talked about before. So first and foremost, it is peach season, and Georgia is well known for their peaches. They're grown all over the state, and we're going to get started. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can use fresh, frozen, or canned peaches. And I'm going to walk you through it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with a peach sauce that I am making with canned peaches. So again, you can use fresh or frozen in this recipe. I chose to use canned because in the can, they've already been cooked a little bit. So if you're using fresh, you're going to have to cut them, and then you're also going to have to peel them if you use fresh. And then you will have to cook them just a little bit in the pan and bring them up to a simmer. So to skip all those steps and make it super fast and easy like we like here at the food bank, I decided to use canned. So we're just going to shift over here to our blender, and it's a 1, 2, 3, and so that is our peach sauce. You can use this to make mixed drinks, or you can add it to yogurt and things like that. I'm going to show you a parfait layered with yogurt in a little bit. So here's our peach sauce. So with that 1 can, you get about 1 cup of sauce. The original recipe calls for 7 peaches. So our 1 can is about half of that recipe. So we're going to come back to that. Okay. Okay, next thing we're going to do here is we're going to start working on our peach, tomato, and corn salad. So all of these ingredients are in season currently here in Georgia, and you can use fresh, frozen, or canned versions of all of these ingredients. What's really fun about this is we're going to top it off with some crispy quinoa. So I'm going to get that started and show you how to cut your peach, your tomato, and your corn. So with our crispy quinoa, I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of butter. There's my stovetop. And we only need about 1/3 cup of quinoa for this. So this is great for using up leftovers. So this is our quinoa. I chose red because it's going to give us a different color to add to the top. And all this does is add some really great texture. And you will get some protein from it as well. Okay, because quinoa is actually a seed. It's not a grain. So we're going to get protein and a little healthy fat from it, just like we would with nuts or seeds. All right, so let's let that warm up. I'm going to go ahead and just add 1 tablespoon of butter to that. And I will keep that in my eyes on the side while I'm going to cut some stuff for you. Okay, here we go. So I've got some really great tips on how to cut some of these things. So this may not be new to you, but this is going to save you some cleanup. This is one of my favorite kitchen hacks to cut fresh corn. So this one's already been trimmed a little bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a big bowl. We're going to take a smaller bowl and place it upside down in the bottom, and that gives us this little platform for our corn. So you're going to just cut the kernels off the sides while balancing on the little bowl. So they all land in the bowl. They don't spring around the counter, and you don't have to clean up after yourself. There we go. Some of the corn will stay in chunks as it comes off the cob, but that looks really cool on the salad plate as you put it together. So no need to break up those chunks. There you go. So hang on to your corn scraps because you can make a really delicious broth with this, or you can put it in the freezer with the rest of your veggie scraps and all together make a veggie broth from all of your scraps. So I'm saving this and putting it to the side. Okay, so that's my 1 ear of corn I wanted to show you. Our recipe calls for 3. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to the rest of my corn here. All right, so this is fresh and raw. We're not cooking this corn. You can absolutely blanch the corn cobs if you like to. I really love the crispy, fresh, sweet texture of the corn when it's raw. So you have that choice if you would like that. Also, if you wanted to grill all of these vegetables and then put them together, that would be fantastic. So you have some choices here. Okay, so peaches. Butter, actually. Let's look at the butter first. Butter's melted, but it's not warm enough just yet. So I'm going to give it 30 seconds. I want to not let it burn. Okay. Peaches come in 2 different styles. The pit on the inside can stick to the fruit, and that's called a cling peach, or it can be a free stone. So the stone is a reference to the seed, which means that the stone or the seed really separates from the fruit really easy. You won't always know which one you're getting. They're not labeled in the store whether they're cling or freestone, and if they are, look for the freestone. They're a lot easier to work with. So I did actually get freestones today. So you're gonna cut this as if you were cutting an avocado in the same way. So I'm gonna pull out my little stem here, and you're just going to slice it in the middle with the, there's a seam on the peach. So you're gonna follow that seam, and then you're just gonna roll it in the opposite direction down your knife. And then you're gonna twist it, and there's your 2 halves, just like an avocado would be. So that's super easy. Next step is you're gonna place your cut side down, and you're gonna cut it into wedges. So you can choose how thick you want your wedges to be. Just remember that once you cut your tomato, you want the tomato and the peaches to be the same size. So if you prefer to have smaller tomatoes, cut smaller peaches. So I'm just gonna do about 1/2 inch here, make my little wedges. And those are our peaches, and that's exactly how they're gonna go in the salad. At this point, if you want smaller pieces, you can dice them up. So you can just cut them into chunks from here. I'm keeping them in this wedge shape because they're gonna be a really nice visual. And then folks can also, as they serve themselves, choose whether they want more peaches or more tomatoes, or if they don't like tomatoes, all that good stuff. Butter is warm, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my quinoa. There we go. So quinoa, you will smell it when it gets toasty. It starts to smell like nuts, and it's really, really delicious. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix it in here, and I'm gonna let it hang out for a few minutes. Just pay attention to it on the sidelines. If you're new to this, you might want to give it all of your attention. Okay, So this side I have with my pit. What I like to do is do the slices like I just did with the other half and just do it around the pit, and then the slices are easy to pull right off. So I'm just gonna go around the pit like this with the slices. And then at this point, you just pop each of the slices off of the pit. Very, very simple. Just like so. There we go. So there is how we cut our freestone peach. Let's give this a stir. I turned it up just a little bit. All right, so we've got a tomato. This is one of the vine-on types. You can use any type of tomato. Big tomatoes or similar size to a peach will help give you the same size of wedges. So I'm just gonna cut this in half, and then I'm gonna cut each half in half. Pretty straightforward here. What I like to do at this point is take my knife and just cut out that little stem corner. Okay. And then from here, I'm gonna cut it in half once more. And then depending on how thick that is, you can compare it to some of my other slices. It's pretty close, so we'll do that. We'll do about that size. It's about the same size as my peaches. Okay. That one was a little thicker, so I sliced it just a little bit smaller. Still similar to the peaches. So this recipe calls for 2 tomatoes, 3 peaches, and 2 tomatoes, and 3 ears of corn. Okay. This one got a little big. All right, so we've got all of our veggies chopped, and our quinoa is crisping up. I can hear it just a little bit. Okay, let me move my cutting board out of the way and show you how you can display this salad on a beautiful wide tray. So you can take a bowl and mix it all together, or you can layer it up and make it really pretty. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my tomatoes and just spread them out evenly over the tray. Remember, you can cut them smaller if you're like Kristen. That's a really big tomato slice. There we go. Nice and evenly around the tray. Next, we got our peaches. I'm just going to do the same and spread them out and around our tomatoes. Just like so. This makes a really beautiful display for cookouts and family gatherings and things like that. You can also make this ahead of time and just pull it out of your fridge and have it ready to go. I hear my quinoa sizzling. So there's more peaches to tomatoes here, but I'm not mad at that at all. Okay. Last veggie. Oh my gosh, it looks so good on camera. Corn. We got our corn. Just gonna give it a good sprinkle. My tray could have been a little bit bigger. That's okay. Looks delicious. I'm not going to overload it too much. Okay, so we're not just going to have veggies on this plate. We're going to have a salad dressing. So it's going to be made with fresh cilantro and some lemon juice and olive oil and fresh garlic. So you can use your garlic powder or your jarred chopped garlic if you want to do that. The original recipe, it calls for basil, but I didn't have any fresh basil available at the grocery store when I shopped. So I chose cilantro. You can use other fresh herbs that are easier to store. So like things like cilantro and parsley can stay in your refrigerator in a jar of water. But something like basil, you're going to have to leave it out of the fridge or it's going to turn black. It just doesn't like cold temperatures. So you could purchase one of the basil plants at the grocery store and keep your basil going and have more basil to use later on. Or you choose what you got. Dried works really well here as well. Okay. That smells delicious. Just butter and quinoa. Okay, we're going to shift back over to our blender and show you our salad dressing. So I've actually got some of this peach puree still in the bottom of my blender, and I think that's going to add some really great flavor to this dressing. It's just a little bit, so it's not going to hurt it at all. So we've got 1 cup pack of cilantro. That's about half of a bunch of cilantro. It's a lot. Got some lemon juice from 1 lemon. Got some fresh garlic. Recipe calls for 1 clove. I use 2 because that's my MO. Big pinch of salt. That wasn't too big. Big pinch of pepper. And then we're going to add the olive oil as it blends. So that's going to help to emulsify all of the ingredients together to make it be a consistent salad dressing. I'm going to get the quinoa stirred real quick. It's making some good sounds over here. Okay. It will be done by the time this dressing is done. Here we go. I need a spatula so I can push down our extra bits that are hanging to the side. Always make sure you get all of it. There we go. Some beautiful green salad dressing. Okay. There we go. Yummy. Oh, that smells so good and fresh. Okay, quinoa is crispy. Just gonna move it over here and get it off the oil. All right. So last few additions and toppings here to our peach, corn, and tomato salad is our salad dressing. So I'm going to give it a good drizzle over the top. Just right over the top. That's so beautiful. Okay. And then our crispy quinoa. I think I might want to use a little spoon for that since it's fresh off the heat. Just give it a little do-do-do. It's so quiet in here. So regular quinoa is fine here. I chose red just to have a different color. But if you've got regular white quinoa or even the combo of the 3 colors, that is cool too. Some fresh green onion on top. You can also sub out this fresh green onion with raw onion, like white or red onion if you prefer that, or have it on hand. So here's a beautiful tray of so many good colors to add to your summer dish recipes with all of the lovely peaches and tomatoes and corn. Yum, yum, yum. Smells so good and fresh. Okay. Next, remember that peach sauce we were talking about? let's make a parfait with our peach sauce. So I've got some vanilla Greek yogurt. You can use unflavored yogurt and add a little bit of your sweetener of choice and a little bit of vanilla if you have that. Otherwise, you're still going to have this really great peachy flavor to give you some sweetener and some flavor to your parfait. So I want to start with the bottom. I'm going to start with the peach sauce on the bottom. So first layer. Okay. Add some yogurt. See if I can get enough in there. It's sinking into it. That's okay. Add a little bit more peach sauce. It's all mixing together. Okay, and some more yogurt on top. Yummy peach sauce and yogurt parfait. I'm just going to go ahead and take a big bite of this since I have a spoon. Oh, that's so good. Please make that. If you don't eat yogurt, no problem. Serve it over ice cream or pancakes or waffles or grilled meat. Any of these things will work really well with this peach sauce. You can also make drinks out of it. It's very, very versatile. Okay, last but not least, this is the easiest one of the day. No prep necessary. All you need is water and frozen peaches. So these frozen peaches are going to be flavor, and they're also going to be ice cubes. So all you do is add your frozen peaches to your water, just like so. It's really great for folks who have trouble drinking just plain water. So you can add your frozen peaches. You can do this with any fruit. I really like strawberries. Or you could get one of the blends that also has peaches in it. Just push it down a little. Yeah, beautiful. So, peach water. That is done. So, serve some ice cold peach water with a peach and tomato and corn salad, maybe some yogurt parfaits, or take this to breakfast and serve it that way as well. So you've got some really great ideas for using fresh, frozen, or canned peaches. And I'm excited for the next episode next week, which actually ties in really well with this. This will be a great side dish to our theme next week. So you got to tune in, which is not next week, in 2 weeks. You got to tune in then to know what we're going to talk about and see how these would really play well together. So go grab yourself some peaches or tomatoes and corn and have this really refreshing dish with your family. All right, friends. You can find the recipes and the key takeaways from this episode at the bit.ly link that we will drop in the chat. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks for our next episode of July. Until then, stay cool and stay hydrated. That link is coming up on the screen. Peach sauce, peach drink, peach salad.